Hi, this is Marty Glickman speaking for Sports Champions, and I'm talking with power-hitting first baseman Jim Gentile. Jim, you've established yourself as one of the outstanding home run hitters in the game, but it was a long, hard road to the majors for you. You spent years in the minor leagues, and you had some big years there, too. It must have been discouraging for you.
Yes, it was, Marty. 7 years in the Dodger organization and never getting a real chance to play in the big leagues. I was wondering whether I was ever going to make it or not.
Well, I think that's a mighty good lesson for the youngsters. You had a rough time of it, but you persisted, you believed in yourself, and you eventually made it. Your being in the major leagues must provide you with tremendous satisfaction. You're known as a power-hitting first baseman, yet you're one of the finest fielders in the major leagues today. What are some of the fundamentals about playing first base?
Well, Marty, I think the main thing to learn, you have to learn how to play the bag. It takes time. You can get out there and you got to learn how to move your feet around, how to shift your feet on first base and be ready for every throw from shortstop or third base or second base. And another thing, on ground balls, you have to know your hitters. You have to be able to stay down. You have the bigger glove, so you can be more of a one-handed first baseman than you can be if you play second or short. So I think the most that the young boys should do is just practice ground balls and practice shifting their feet on first base.
When you catch the ball in your first baseman's mitt, where in the mitt do you try to catch it?
Well, you try to catch it up in the webbing, and you can handle the ball better when it's up there in the webbing.
Do you keep your forefinger out of the glove, as so many first basemen do?
Yes, I do. I feel that you can handle the glove better, and it keeps from getting you a bone bruise catching these hard throws from the shortstop and second baseman. Well,
you're basically known as a real power hitter, and you're the only hitter in the history of the major leagues to hit 2 consecutive Grand Slam home runs. You did that back in 1961. Do you recall the incident?
Yes, I do, because Mr. Richards was managing the ball club, and the first time I got up, I was facing Ramos, and he had me 2 strikes before I could turn around. So I said, well, geez, I just want to hit this next pitch, and he tried to throw a high fastball by me, and I just tried to get it to the outfield, and it just kept going over the center field fence, and it was my first Grand Slam in the big leagues, and I was real happy about it.
Well, then you stepped into the batter's box the next time around. The bases were loaded once again. What were your thoughts at that time?
Well, exactly the same thing. I said, I better just hit it. I don't want to strike out now after hitting a Grand Slam, and Paul Giel was pitching, and he threw me a screwball that didn't break, and I swung, and again I was surprised. The ball went farther than I thought it was going to go, and when I got around home plate, I wasn't thinking too much about it. I was real happy, and Mr. Richard just walked up and said, I don't think that's ever been done before, son.
Jim, do you agree with most long ball hitters that when you swing for distance, you don't necessarily hit the ball as far as when you swing just to meet the ball?
Yes, Marty, I think so. It's just like I said in 1961, when the bases were loaded, I just tried to hit the ball, and I felt like I just took a nice, easy swing, and the ball went farther than I thought. But with me, I swing the same way for a base hit as I do for a home run. I swing awful hard, and it looks like every time I'm up, I'm trying to hit the ball 600 feet. Through the years I've been playing, everybody says the fence is only 340 feet away, don't try and hit it 600. But it's the way I swing, and it just looks like I'm trying to overpower the ball all the time.
Do you recommend that young ball players then continue to hit consistently every time out?
Well, I think it really depends on the boy, how big and strong he is. When you first start out, I think the hardest thing is to find a bat that you can handle. There's so many theories where some boys like to use a real heavy bat, other boys like to use a light bat. And I think it goes by your size and what you can handle. And as you get older, you sort of figure out, and it sort of shows whether you're going to be a long ball hitter, whether you have power, or whether you're going to have to be a line drive hitter and go for 300. And I think as the boys get, say, from 12 on up, they start to know what kind of hitter they're going to be.
Where do you stand in the batter's box, Jim, and what do you recommend for young ball players about standing in a particular place in the batter's box?
Well, I stand deep because I have long arms and I have a pretty long reach, so I stand deep and quite a ways away from the plate. And again, it goes right back to how the boy is, his physical makeup, if he can stand close or whether he should stand far away. The best thing is to get a stance that's comfortable and learn the strike zone and try not to hit at bad balls, and I think you'll be all right.
The strike zone, the most important element in hitting. How do you learn the strike zone?
Well, by playing, and right now as they have changed it and they made it a little bit bigger, it's a little tougher now. We have to learn it all over. After playing 11 years, you think you have the strike zone down pretty good, now you have to learn it all over. And the only way you can learn it is by playing a lot and concentrating on swinging at nothing but strikes.
As you play first base defensively, I'm told that perhaps the toughest play you have to make is that double play combination from first to second back to first base.
Yes, it's a tough play, but it hasn't been too tough for me. My toughest thing is that slow hit bunt. Being left-handed, when it gets by the pitcher and you have to pick it up, I have to throw cross body to the pitcher covering first. And that, so far in the big leagues, has been my toughest play. I think I've missed about 10 out of 50 on that. I can't seem to come up with that play because I have to throw cross body, and you have to lead the pitcher just right. And we have fellas like Mantle and Aparicio and them running down that line, and you have to make it in a real hurry. So that's been my toughest play.
Well, Jim, I hope you're with winning very much. Jim Gentile of the Kansas City A's.
Thank you, Marty.